Transformers are back. We are so back, baby! Transformers 1 is an animated movie based on the origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron, meaning it has absolutely no connection to planet Earth or humans in any way. That means no Shia LaBeouf, no Megan Fox, and no Linkin Park. Shh, I'm so sorry, my sweet prince, not today. I'm just gonna come out and say it, this movie kicks ass. The star of the show here is the relationship between Optimus and Megatron. They start off as best friends, not boyfriends, and by the end of the movie, they become mortal enemies, not boyfriends. I'll be honest, I was worried going into this movie because telling the story of someone's turn to the dark side is always tricky. It needs to happen slowly and organically, or you run the risk of pulling an Anakin Skywalker, where he's a good guy, and whoops, he's choking a pregnant lady and playing Beat Saber with children as the note blocks. However, I understand it's pretty difficult to accomplish the transformation from robot to robot with a gun in an hour and 45 minutes. And the good news is, they pull this off pretty well. Megatron's totally platonic and 100% straight relationship with Optimus in the beginning provides a nice contrast to his behavior as a murderous tyrant by the end of it. Basically, Megatron starts off as a nice guy, then has a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, and turns into the Jonkler. You wanna know how I got these Decepticon logos? I'm making jokes, but I genuinely think their friendship is the best part of this movie. They go out of their way to have each other's backs, and it's really sweet how they lift each other up. You know that eventually they have to become mortal enemies, but seeing how strong their friendship is at the start makes it even more tragic, and I feel the same heartbreak Optimus did by the end of it. I think what helps this movie stay focused enough to tell this fall from grace story is the fact that even though there are a zillion Transformers, and trust me, you have plenty of Glup Shido cameos in the background, they keep the core group small with only 4 main characters: Optimus, Megatron, Ielita, and B, aka
Badassatron.
B is a character that really might make or break the movie for a lot of people. He's voiced by Keegan-Michael Key, and he plays the same character he plays in every movie he has ever been in, himself. I mean, there's literally an Aaron joke in there.
You done messed up, Aaron!
This guy can be a lot. His whole bit in this movie is the guy that never shuts up.
Why is he gagged?
He wouldn't stop talking.
Even when he was unconscious?
Especially when he was unconscious.
So if that sounds like hell to you, well, make yourself at home. I could definitely see this character being very annoying to some people, but I don't really mind that type of humor, and most of his jokes landed for me, even if he was very close to overstaying his welcome. Plus, B's humor becomes necessary later because there is a huge tonal shift in the story at around the halfway point. After that, he is really the only remaining source of comedy. If you've seen the trailer, this movie was advertised as a Marvel-esque, quippy, he's right behind me, isn't he, action comedy movie. Huge emphasis on the comedy. And that advertisement is true. The movie is indeed like that for the first 30 minutes. Then it turns into a super serious drama for the rest of it. I'm serious, 1 minute everyone is cracking jokes, there's lots of slapstick, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're in the Dark Knight. You wanna know how I got these nuts and bolts? This joke sucks. Looking at the performances, this is yet another animated movie full to the brim with celebrity voices. Optimus Prime, played by Chris Hemsworth, Megatron is played by Miles Morales' dad, Ielita is played by Scarlett Johansson, and B is played by, well, we already covered that.
You done messed up, Aaron!
Most of them do a good job, but Chris Hemsworth has the most interesting performance for me. When he starts the movie as Orion Pax, he's doing his best, like, Channing Tatum impression.
Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
No, not that one. Side note, it is very odd to hear Thor with an American accent. I almost never got used to it. Then, as he starts to slowly become more and more like Optimus Prime, you can feel that he is giving it his all to try and recreate Peter Cullen's iconic voice.
There's more to them than meets the eye. We roll out.
His voice gets deeper, and he has the exact same cadence in his speech. It never quite sounds exactly like Peter Cullen until the ending monologue, where he totally nails it. And yes, this movie ends on a monologue just like the Michael Bay Transformers movies. On a surface level, the plot is nothing we haven't seen before. In fact, it's basically A Bug's Life. But I say it's on the surface level because, again, the actual core story being told here is the relationship between Optimus Prime and Megatron, with Optimus's rise to leader of the Autobots and Megatron's downfall to Roberto from Futurama.
No, please, help!
Regardless of how by the books the plot gets, everything done in the story is meant to serve the greater purpose of pushing these two characters closer and closer to their destinies. That destiny being to sell toys, baby! Lots and lots of toys! While we're on the subject of smashing action figures together, the action in this movie is pretty dope. The way they move, the way they throw punches with rocket-powered fists, and literally pulling guns out of their asses is so satisfying. If I was a 7-year-old watching this, there would be a laser beam shooting out of my chest as I transcend humanity because the cool robots are doing the cool robot things. The Transformers' main gimmick is that they can transform into cars. Duh. But seeing all the different ways the Transformers utilize this ability while fighting never gets old. They do full transformations into cars, partial transformations where the wheels of the car replaces their feet and they like ice skate across the battlefield. There was one moment where Optimus was fighting some dude and he gets him in a bear hug. Then Optimus transforms while holding on to him, and the torque of Optimus's body rotating around rips the dude in half. Laser beam out of my chest. Laser beam out of my chest! And unlike the Michael Bay movies, I never found myself losing track of who is who, or randomly cutting to some hot girl in slow motion. Unless you're into Scarlett Johansson robots, which, let's be clear, I super am. I really can't say enough good things about this movie. This movie looks incredible, the characters are fun and interesting, the humor gets some serious belly laughs out of me, and the story moves at a nice pace with nothing feeling like filler. If I had to pick something to complain about, I'd probably say the main villain that isn't Megatron is a little weak. I won't say who they are because it's supposed to be a twist, but you can see it coming from a mile away. This villain does like a Will Arnett voice impression, and he acts like Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2. You know, that smarmy, evil businessman kind of thing, but like also trying to be funny about it? Which would be fine in a Marvel action comedy movie, but here he's still doing his funny bad guy bit after that tonal shift into a super serious movie that I was talking about before. So that funny tone kind of clashes with the new serious tone set by the movie. But it's not a super huge deal, and I still like the character overall. That's really the only complaint I had. I hope this movie does well and gets a sequel because there's enough material and loose ends introduced in this movie to make another one. If you are a huge Transformers fan, go watch this movie. If you're really into animated films, go watch this movie. And even if you are neither of those things, go watch this movie.
I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message to anyone watching to leave a like on this video and to subscribe. I am here. I am waiting.
Come on, man, please.
Have a rotten day.